Good. So, awareness and power in meditation, we're looking at today in our mindfulness session. So, the first thing we're going to start with is do a kind of setting intention, reflection, and mindfulness practice. So, if you've been training with me before, you'll know we often start with setting an intention and recalling our motivation. And the intention part of the practice often relates to developing a certain attitude towards our own mind and towards ourselves. Some attitude we want to cultivate as we meditate, so that when we're kind of facing ourselves and our own mind, which might be really unruly like a wild monkey, is one of perhaps kindness. Kindness is useful. Curiosity, we often talk about, is useful. Patience is very useful. And of course, we're practicing those things as well. In terms of patience, I can be very patient in certain contexts with certain people, and I can also be very impatient. And I'm probably most impatient with myself. So all of these things are also part of the practice. So as you settle into your chosen posture for meditation, we might already bring in an intention of kindness there, or curiosity. You know, what would it be like to sit up today, or what would it be like to lie down today? And even if we do the same thing we always do, we're sitting in our favorite meditation pose, we can still be curious. What is it like today? Is it any different? So bringing that intention in already right from the start of being curious, and perhaps letting go of assumptions that our meditation will be the same as yesterday or the same as last week. And then our kind of overall intention for the practice today, which is the aim I set for this session, is to explore the attitude that we bring to our practice. So that's what we're doing. How are we showing up with ourselves? How is our kind of inner observer today? Is our inner observer patient or impatient? And the motivation why we're doing it is really to uncover anything that might have been hidden from us. So when we don't know something, when we're not aware, we have no power to change or to do anything about it. So sometimes our inner observer, our inner witness, our attitude that's infusing our awareness is a little bit sneaky. It might be subtly judging us or being subtly critical. And so kind of gonna see what's going on there, seeing if there's anything sneaky going on that's perhaps not so helpful. And perhaps there's a particular intention that you would like to bring to the practice today, other than patience or curiosity, or increasing your awareness of unconscious, subconscious patterns that you're not normally aware of. There's something else that you want to bring. And then it's also helpful to reflect briefly on your own motivation to practice right now, today. Why are you practicing today? How might it support you? And then we can put that aside and bring our attention to our connection with the ground or the floor or the furniture, whatever you're supported by right now. Becoming aware of the base we're creating for our posture. Might be the sitting bones, your sitting bones on your chair, or the back of your body on the floor, your feet, your legs. And then sensing your upper body and the way that it's resting on, supported by your lower body. If you're sitting, if you're lying down, noticing how your upper body is supported by the floor. And then we can bring our attention to our body and see if there's any kind of attitude already present in our body. For example, if we're kind of trying quite hard to concentrate, for example, there might be a certain level of tension, which isn't necessarily unhelpful. Sometimes that type of concentration in meditation is compared to the concentration you might bring to threading a needle. And we can check if there's some kind of unnecessary effort accompanying that. So we cultivate the capacity to concentrate in a way that's sustainable for us. That's not too uptight. That might mean allowing our body to relax a tiny bit more. Or there might be something of the opposite attitude of, I can't be bothered today. I'm just gonna be the wild monkey mind. I'm just gonna go to sleep, which of course can always be your choice. totally acceptable to fall asleep, especially if you sense that's just really what you need in terms of self-care. But if we notice, then there is choice. So we could perk up a bit, we could sit up a bit straighter, we could open our eyes if we want to stay awake. Or we might concentrate just a little bit more, bringing in a hint of that threading the needle type concentration. In Buddhist teachings, it's often compared to tuning a string instrument, like getting the tension on the strings just right, not too tight and not too loose. And then being present with our breathing, our body, in that way which is not too tight and not too loose. And what is too tight or too loose is a personal thing, so exploring that yourself. And then also being aware of the attitude. Is there kindness? Is there curiosity, patience? What else is there? And then taking your attention to the space around you, around the room. Gently opening your eyes if they've been closed. Moving your body around a bit to loosen up. Loosening up after sitting still. Good. So working with the embodied kind of attitude to meditation, embodied observer, through movement and gestures and the gaze All of these things can be really helpful. Just tilted my screen the wrong way, I think. The other way. So we can start by standing with creating a firm foundation through our feet, centering our weight, a sense of steadiness and centeredness in our meditation often helps me to work with my observer being kind of calm and not thrown by whatever's going on in my mind. Sometimes we work with Thich Nhat Hanh's image of being solid like a mountain, and this is mountain pose in yoga. So the standing pose, and of course we could do this seated as well. It's where our weight is centered from left to right and from front to back. And we're standing up straight without unnecessary effort. So our arms, our shoulders are relaxed. Our knees are slightly soft. Pelvis is settled on the legs. A sense of lightness and ease in the neck and the head. Helpful to look straight ahead rather than down at the screen if your screen is lower than your head, which it probably is if it's on a table or something like that. Looking straight ahead. And then we can spend a moment with our gaze, softening our gaze, using the movement with the hands, so bringing our gaze, our focus to our hands in front of us, perhaps seeing your thumbs or the tips of your fingers in some detail. So we're bringing in that focus, a bit like threading a needle. And threading a needle is quite a nice example because if we're not at the same time relaxed as when we're threading the needle, it tends to be harder. So kind of relaxed concentration. And then as we separate our hands, keeping both hands in our view, you can wriggle your fingers a little bit, take your arms wide so the gaze opens up and softens. You can still see a little bit of movement in the corners of your eyes, from the corners of your eyes, going into that open peripheral vision. And we've already kind of expanded through our sense of sight, forwards and to the right and to the left. And also up and down. We'll see more in the upward direction and more in the downward direction than we did from when we were looking at our fingertips. Opening up the view. And then we can have the sense of awareness of the ground or the floor underneath our feet. And for a couple of breaths, we could imagine breathing in as if through the soles of our feet and breathing out as if through the soles of our feet into the ground. And then a couple of breaths, imagining breathing in as if we could breathe in through the crown of our head and breathing out as if we could breathe out through the crown of our head. John Kabat-Zinn in one of his guided practices mentions imagining being like a whale with a blowhole in the top of your head. And then becoming aware of the back of our body, from the heels up to the back of the head. And for a couple of breaths, imagining breathing in on the space between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart, breathing in to that place and breathing out as if from that place. Perhaps as you breathe, you can feel your shoulder blades shifting a bit, slightly separating on the in-breath and coming a little closer together on the out-breath. Becoming aware of the backward direction and the space behind you. And becoming aware of the center of your chest, front of the heart space. And imagining breathing in and out as if through the front center of your chest. And then letting our arms float up, slowly move up as if they're very light. And then taking a couple of breaths in, imagining you're breathing into your side ribs and breathing out as if through your side ribs. Expanding to the right and expanding to the left. And letting your arms relax. Seeing if you can both be aware of your body standing in space, connected to the ground, lengthening up towards the sky. Space in front of you, space behind you, space to the right, space to the left. Aware with your senses of all directions around you and up and down. And we can take our feet a bit wider apart, spreading out into that space. We can soften our knees, emphasizing the downward direction, letting our tailbone release downwards, and still standing tall, still aware of the upward direction. And then letting our arms loosely swing around us. You can let your heels come off the ground, keeping your torso upright. So you're still centered, your head is still centered above your hips. You turn your head if you wish, or you can keep looking straight ahead with a soft gaze, engaging your peripheral vision. And aware of all the space around you. And then gradually slowing down. Aware of space all around you in the 6 directions. And then bringing your feet below your hips again, aligned with your hips. And then we can take a small step forwards and bring our arms forwards, almost like a hugging gesture, a bit of space between the fingers, so sideways on, looks like this. So there's a space inside your arms, and it's not closed, it's open. Your fingers can be slightly apart as well. And there's a bit of a boundary. It's not completely closed. This might be useful as an embodiment of the attitude that's useful in meditation, to have some sense of a container. We've got a formal practice. We're sitting down on a cushion. We're turning off our phone. Maybe we're creating a bit of a boundary. And at the same time, it's not very tight. Distractions are going to come in from somewhere. We can't avoid that. There's going to be some distraction, some unexpected sound, some unexpected thought, involuntary arising of sense impressions and thoughts. And there's a kind, gentle container as well. So things can come in and things can go back out. There's a bit of a flow. And we can turn maybe one hand out. So there might be some things we kind of encourage to stay out of that practice. So that might be something like, I'm not going to look at my phone whilst I'm meditating. There's a bit of a no there. And then this one is what we're encouraging in. I'm going to encourage myself to be patient, to sit still, whatever it is. Some things that we want to encourage inside the container of the practice, and some things we want to discourage. Thich Nhat Hanh often uses the metaphor of some seeds we want to water, the seeds of kindness and patience, and the seeds that we don't water might be the seeds of being overly critical, having expectations that are completely unrealistic. So they might be there, and we simply don't water them. We don't entertain them. We don't try to get rid of them, but we choose to nourish what's useful. So this hand with the palm turned in could be what we nourish. The hand with the palm turned out, what we don't wish to nourish. And we can step back and relax our arms. We can step forwards with the other foot and maybe turn the hands around and maybe bringing to mind what we want to encourage and what we want to discourage. Relax our arms again. Loosening up and shaking out a little bit. Releasing our head. And we'll do a bit of formal practice again, which you can do seated or lying down or standing if you wish. And if there's something you want to just let go of or shake off, something you want to discourage, because sometimes I might have physically turned my phone off, but my mind might be wondering, has that email come in yet that I'm waiting for, or whatever. So sometimes it's useful to do a letting go posture as well, a forward bend with an out breath, or the shaking off before we sit down for our formal practice or lie down. Breathing out, letting go of any distractions that we would like to discourage. then returning to the posture that you find helpful to meditate in. So settling, sitting or lying. And with this intention of creating a bit of a container for our practice where there's a level of being present or concentrating on the present moment, with at the same time a sense of relaxed openness to whatever may arise. Like this gesture of encouraging an attitude of patience, kindness, and whatever you want it to bring. And at the very least, not encouraging the monkey mind by chasing it with a stick or however we do that. So as you then come to sitting or lying, those intentions will be held lightly in our attitude to the practice. And our body can settle. Again, the open awareness might be aided by keeping our eyes slightly open, again with a peripheral vision. Or you can close your eyes. And especially you might like to look away from the screen down towards the ground or past the screen or turn away from it. And then again, feeling the body, your body itself, the posture that you're in. The embodied container for your practice. And the space around your body, and the floor, the ground below your body, and above your body. So aware of the 6 directions and the expansiveness of awareness itself, not being confined to the body. Can our awareness feel bigger than the body and at the same time encompass the body? And choosing an anchor for your mindfulness, which may be your breath, or the whole of your body's experience. Or the whole of the present moment. Noticing that the scope of our awareness, sometimes called the field of awareness, can zoom in on one thing like the breath, expand to the body, and then expand more to encompass the whole of your present moment experience. And all of these are valid, helpful, interesting. See which one suits you today. Noticing the things that arise in your awareness, perhaps thoughts, perhaps sounds, sensations in your body. Are we able to let them come and go? Just like thoughts, thoughts like the clouds moving through the sky. No need to do anything about them. No need to analyze, no need to assess, no need to judge. And however we experience our inner observer or witness, bringing kindness to that too. So however we've kind of evolved this inner observer, it might have become an inner critic or an inner assessor of some kind of chief whip or inner fool or whatever it is. It's part of our own coping strategy so far in our life. And that's okay. The more we can tend to and befriend that part of ourselves, the more everything becomes integrated into this space of kind and curious awareness. Rumi's guest house where everything is welcome. And for the last 10 minutes or so of the class, if you wish to lie down to explore a deeper relaxation in your body, please feel free. If you're very comfortable, you can do this practice seated too. Take a moment to change to a lying down pose if you wish. And then for the next 2 or 3 out breaths, exploring the downward direction again. Connecting to the support underneath us, below us. And then the next 2 or 3 out breaths, exploring the space above us. Being aware of the upward direction. And then being aware of the back of your body, the back of your head, shoulder blades, the small of your back, the sacrum, buttocks, heels, and then aware of the front of your body, the forehead, eyebrow center, bridge of the nose, mouth, tongue, throat, the center of your chest, navel, pubic area, and then being aware of the right side of your body, right leg, hip, right side of your ribs, right shoulder, right arm, right hand. right side of your face, right ear, and then becoming aware of the left side of your body, left leg, hip, left side of the waist, left side of the ribs, left shoulder, arm and hand, and the left side of your face, and your left ear. And then the whole of the front of your body, the whole of the back of your body, aware of what's below your body, underneath you, supporting you, aware of the space above your body, aware of the space in front and behind, and to the right and to the left. As you breathe in, perhaps feeling your body expand a little into all of those 6 directions. Body slightly inflating, enlarging. And as you exhale, drawing back towards a center within yourself. You may experience that center to be in the belly or the heart or the midline of the body, wherever it is. How do you experience your center? And can you experience expanding slightly away from that center as you inhale and coming back towards that center as you exhale? And for the last few moments, becoming aware of the sounds around you, filling that space around you. And if your eyes are open, you might like to slightly open your eyes now. The light in the room, zooming out to become aware of the space around you, your body in that space. And then if you feel ready and would like to, you might expand your body into that space with some movement, stretching up and out, maybe down, perhaps placing your hands on the floor, doing Kind of letting go, posture seated, standing. If you need to be a bit more wakeful or energized for whatever you're doing next, exploring the upward direction and outward direction might be more useful than down and in. If you're ready for a nap, you can stay there and relax if you have the time.